something called emotional vampires. I want to touch on this. Emotional vampires are people that run on raw emotions, and it's very little common sense lodged in their head, you know. Emotional vampires are all around you. If you're in church, if you're in a church with 3 people, 1 will be an emotional vampire. If you got a family, you know, you're going to have emotional vampires in your family system. At work, there's going to be a lot of emotional vampires at work. Relationships, you know, emotional vampires, they're all around us, you know, and how they affect us is critical to evaluate that. You know, I saw an emotional vampire just recently on Facebook. There was a Presbyterian minister, a woman. Trump, I think it was the president, had come to the town where the shooting, the synagogue got shot up, the Jewish synagogue got shot up, you know, to say he's sorry. And this woman is standing on the street shouting, "Go away, it's not about you. These people are grieving. It's not about you. Go away. They're trying to grieve. It's not about you." And I thought to myself, and she was an emotional vampire, believe me. I thought, how is it possible for a man not even to be able to go to a church and say, "Hey, I'm sorry your church got shot up. I'm sorry that there are people." He couldn't even do that. You see, with emotional vampires, you can't even say you're sorry. They will not accept it, your forgiveness, you see, because they're running on raw emotions. You understand? Your motives will always be misrepresented to emotional vampires. They will always misinterpret your motives. Your motives, you can do no good. No matter what you do, your motives will be misrepresented with emotional vampires. Jesus healed a man, okay? And the emotional vampire said, he healed on the Sabbath. That's a sin. That's all they could come up with. After healing a man, all they could say is, he's breaking the law. Incredible. This is the nature of emotional vampires. And how you let them influence you is critical if you are to survive. Okay. Someone said this: if people cannot control their own emotions, then they have to start trying to control other people's emotions. You know, and this is very true. If you'll just notice, people that cannot control their emotions, what they do is they set out to control, you know, your emotions by trying to control other people's emotions. This is the nature of emotional vampires. And believe me, you've got a lot of them in your life. You probably just don't realize it. Okay. So assess the people around you. Are there people who criticize you a lot? Okay? Well, emotional vampires. All right. Do they try to manipulate you? All right. Do you know a lot of people that constantly talk about themselves? I mean, constantly. Do they ever ask how you're doing? No, chances are they. Do you know why they don't ask how you're doing? They don't care. That's the reason. And these people can suck the life's blood out of you. They really can't. Emotional vampires. All they talk about is themselves, and they never ask how you're doing because they don't care. Now, when you know how to spot these behaviors, you can protect yourself against them. Okay, so I'm talking about protecting yourself on an emotional, on an emotional level here. This often includes removing yourself from their presence. Yeah, there are people you should stay away from. I hope you know that. For example, don't stand around and listen to someone talk for 2 hours if all you can tolerate is 30 minutes. Make your excuse and leave. You know, there used to be a church that I went to, and there's a lady there that if she started talking to you, you might as well set up your tent, build your campfire, and because you're going to be there all day. I mean, look, that stuff drives me crazy. You know, I view them as emotional vampires. But, you know, if all you can tolerate is 30 minutes, don't listen to that person for 2 hours. Ramble on and talk about themselves.
Check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com.